26. So big win for Rochdale. We'll see what that means to the table in a minute. Huge game at the top of the table. Halifax 34, Featherstone 20. So Halifax's hoodoo over Featherstone sticks. And Brian Davies went to the game for us, and he got in touch.
He did. He said last-minute decision to go to this one was well rewarded. Feisty affair in the second half, but Halifax were always on top. Couple of great tries in the first half as Fax stretched the Fev defence. Good crowd and about 500 or so from Fev. Think Fax could cause a bit of trouble in their home games in mid-late.
Yeah, 2,300 or so were on. There was some fighting and some.
Who would have thought it between Halifax and Featherstone?
No, exactly. There was by the looks of it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Simbins in the game.
No, I don't believe that of those two nice clubs.
But there you go. But ultimately, I think Saltonstall and Morel were the stars for Halifax from what I've read, and they were able to come through big style, whereas Fev, playing a few Leeds players, weren't able to get the best out of Luke Briscoe or Jack Ormondroyd or Brad Dwyer. Okay, on to Dewsbury 22, Barrow 20. Dewsbury desperately will have been needing that win after they've been on a bit of a poor run. It helps them out in the fight against relegation. Barrow obviously are really struggling at the moment and have been really unable to put full teams together. They had a man on the bench who didn't have a shirt number and wasn't used, so that sort of suggests kind of where they're still at with their squad and stuff.
Someone they found on the
yeah, but they did have Johnny Pownell and Ryan Burrows available on loan from the Wolfpack. I mean, it's a real strange turnaround in events between those two clubs, isn't it? The Raiders have done nothing but slag and hate the Wolfpack, but now they're desperate for their support to give them some wingers because they were really struggling in those areas. But yeah, important win for the Rams. And then the final game, another feisty one it would seem, was Batley 12, Lee Centurions 30, and Lee were really in danger of losing this one. Another shocker for you. Jamie Acton was sent off after 6 minutes of this game.
No, can't believe
and
that of him.
When he was sent off, it was already 6-0 to Batley. Batley then went 10-0 up and led at the break 12-4, but a great second half. I think particularly led by captain Harrison Hansen was huge, and he scored 2 tries as well as putting in a strong defensive effort, did captain Hansen for the Centurions. So big raps on him, and well done to them keeping their top 8 prospects alive, because even though they've got an easier run in, a loss at this stage would have been pretty bad for Lee, as we'll see, because the Wolfpack have sealed the league leaders' shield, but behind them it's really all up for grabs. Toulouse and Halifax have got 29 points. Featherstone remain 4th on 28. London have 27 and have a huge points difference advantage over the rest, and Lee now have 26. Last week me and Tim went through a little bit of a prediction around how things were going to go in this, and we're probably still on track for what we were saying, but what do you think? Who do you think is going to make it and miss out in the championship?
It's so hard to call, isn't it?
I think Halifax's points difference is now going to come into play now that Toulouse and London are both on the odd point.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for Toronto, Toulouse, Halifax and London as my 4.
Interesting. Okay, so Fev and Lee miss out for you.
Yeah.
Batley have 14 points, Barrow have 13, and Dewsbury were the big winners up to 9th on 11. Sheffield on 10, dropped to 10th. Swinton are joined on 8 points by Rochdale. I mean, that would have been an absolutely massive win if Swinton could have pulled it off, and it's huge for Rochdale that they've now not adrift. They would have been adrift, you would have felt, going into the second half of that campaign there. Okay, into League One, round 16 in League One. I believe. Let me just check them right. Yeah, round 16 in League One. It started on Friday night. Bradford they had a double header against the Newcastle, and in the main event it was 24 points to 4, so not quite all their way, but still a comfortable win. London Scholars played against Coventry on Saturday, and we've got some people who got in touch on this one. The game finished 24-20 to Coventry Bears, so the Bears with a good away win for their second win of the season. What did Dave and Tim have to say about this one, Sarah?
Yep, so Dave, Dr. Hideous said, scrappy game on both sides, poor handling, poor discipline and poor thinking from the Scholars meant the Bears deserved the win. Bears made plenty of errors too, but stout defence, especially during the bulk of the second half when the Scholars were down to 10 men, yet still camped on the Bears line, won the game for them. Scholars need to sort themselves out for the upcoming run of tough matches. And a melted Tim G radio says, brilliant to see the Bears get a win on the road coming back from 14-0 down. It was all built on defence as they repelled wave after wave of Scholars' attack on their own line, with the Londoners being held up 4 times. The last 10 minutes were as nervous as I can remember being. Special nods to Freeman, Sherratt, apart from his kicking, Rice, Wilson and Barrett, although everyone in a Bears shirt fought all afternoon.
Okay. It was Hemel 16, Keighley 32, so a morale-boosting win for a patched-together Keighley side against second-bottom Hemel. It was North Wales 14, Whitehaven 22, so another club in financial problems, but getting a strong result on the field. York 31, Doncaster 16. When I spoke to Gav yesterday for the SLP short, Gav did explain that it's not really all been one way in that game for York. They had to scratch for that win a little bit, and it was a tough one, but they took it home in the end. Workington Hunslet was our game of the week from League One, and Workington keep delivering when they play against these big opponents of theirs. It was 28 points to 18 this time after beating Oldham the week before. I think they're on they're the ones to watch in that playoff race, I feel, Workington Town at the moment. And then finally, it was Oldham 102, West Wales 6 in Oldham's biggest ever win. Okay, Bradford and York retain their top 2 positions and stretch away from those below a little bit. Oldham and Workington both overtake Hunslet on points difference. All those 3 are on 22 points. Whitehaven are on 20, just outside the playoff spots. Keighley and Doncaster sit on 18, and Newcastle in 9th on 16 are just about still in touch with that playoff race. North Wales are on 11, London on 9, Coventry on 4, Hemel have 2 and West 8 on 0. 3 results to bring you from the Women's Super League, Sarah. It was St Helens 42, Bradford 12, Castleford 40, York 10, and Leeds 70, Featherstone 6. So all went to form in those matches. In the NRL, there was a very much truncated list of fixtures this week. Started on Thursday with the Storm 52, the Dragons 30 in an out-of-character performance for both of those sides to see that many points put up. Gareth Widdop had a try assist in the game. James Graham played 2, but it was a losing effort for the Dragons. It was the Panthers 36, the Warriors 4, the Bulldogs 28, the Raiders 32. This was Sky's game on Saturday morning, and it was a real thriller if anyone were able to tune in and watch it. Hodgson and White have both played the part in that Raiders comeback, but really exciting. The game looked lost. They scored 2 tries in the last 4 minutes, really, to get the win. What's his name? There's a big chubby second rower from Papua New Guinea who played for the Bulldogs and scored a hat trick, but that wasn't enough for them in that one. Really exciting match down at Belmore. So then the Titans nil the Broncos 34 finished off the NRL stuff. The Rabbitohs have gone top without playing, overtaking the Dragons on points difference. Both have 26 points. The Storm, the Panthers make the top 4 on 24 points. The Roosters, the Sharks, the Broncos and the Warriors complete the top 8 all on 22 points. So 4 points separate the top 8 in that competition. There's then a 6-point gap back to the Raiders and the Tigers, who are the closest followers outside that top 8. So that's all the results. Well and truly covered now. We are going to now make our predictions for the future of Rugby League, Sarah. Previewing predictions now then. Super League, it's round 21. Vital fixtures ahead. 2 Thursday night games. I think Little Mix has meant that Huddersfield are hosting Wigan on Thursday night. It's a 7:45 kick-off. I'll let you go first on what you think, because I think everyone can guess what I think is going to happen in this one.
I've gone for Wigan, actually, by 32 points to 18.
Okay. Yeah, I've gone Wigan as well, 30 points to 20. I think both sides are going to be missing a forward. In that, Wigan will be missing Liam Farrell, I suspect, and Huddersfield will be missing Seb Ikehefo, I also suspect. I just think that we're better, so we'll win. I hope that.
It's not a lot,
Huddersfield have been going good lately, so I think it will be a good one to tune into on the radio whilst you're watching this next game, which is Sky's game on Thursday, 7:45 kickoff as well, for Warrington versus Catalan Dragons. Now, this was a bit of a tougher one to predict because Catalan are really, really in form, but I'm casting my mind back over that run of form that they've got, and I'm not entirely certain that they've played anyone who's really as good as this Warrington side are, and at home I think Warrington are going to be good enough, so I've gone with them winning by a one-score margin. I've got Warrington 28-22.
What about, would you not say that Castleford are as good as Warrington?
No, partly because Castleford went to Catalan with a real depleted side.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And that put them up against it. And I think there was it seems like there was other factors with that. It seemed like they were treating it more as a mid-season training camp rather than a real, getting ready for a Super League game is kind of what I felt about that Castleford situation last week. And it's the worst performance Castleford had put in this year. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to put them in the same bracket between that team and. Although Castleford are great and have got good depth and all of that sort of stuff, I'm hesitant to compare that Castleford side to a Warrington side at home. But I get what you're saying. What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, I've gone the same. I've gone Warrington to beat Catalans. I've gone 24-16, so just that slightly over one score.
Yeah, I think what you do get with Warrington is you do get that Cooper and Hill have really good engines on them. Oh.
But hopefully Hill will be banned.
That's a good point. He should be, but he didn't get a ban last time either. He seems so maybe he's immune to them. We will see. Okay. Friday night Sky game is a real crucial game for the bottom end of that top 8. It's Leeds hosting Wakefield. Now this is 7:45 kickoff. This is a real coin flip of a game. Really, it's Kev's triumphant return home to Headingley, heading up the side with obviously James Lowes doing the bulk of the coaching job. I'm not really sure that Leeds' squad and stuff is going to be too different to the squad they were able to put out last week. They might mix things up with some of the players that went out on dual reg. Wakefield, they've got a couple of questions about what they do with the halfback situation because it's maybe not worked as well the last couple of games. It's a really interesting matchup. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
I've gone for Wakefield by 4 points. I've gone 16-12. I don't think. I don't think Kev or James Lowes, depending, will be able to do enough with Leeds. But there again, as you say, Wakefield haven't looked convincing either recently.
Wakefield, I think one thing they've got in their favour is that forward pack is going to be bigger and better and stronger and more powerful than what Leeds have. That to me is a factor. I just think Leeds have lost so many games by 1 point this season that it's got to turn around at some point. And if they lose this game, that is Wakefield safe in the top top 8. Sorry, we know that from the maths. They'll be on 20 points, and Leeds in 9th will be on 15 points with 2 games to play. I feel that Leeds have probably still just about got the better of that sort of big game mentality aspect, and if it is close, if Wakefield don't blow them out in the first 50 minutes or so, if it is close going down the end, I feel that Leeds will still have a better edge, even though they've not had it so far this season against opponents. I'm going 19-18 in favour of Leeds. I think that they're gonna get that 1 point win to go against all the 1 point losses they've had this season. But I would not be shocked at all if Wakefield won this by 20, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, Friday 7:45 p.m. It's your game. You're hosting the table-topping St Helens side. I think Saints keep finding ways to win, and I just think they've got too much potency at the moment for a Hull FC side that hasn't really got got it nailed out about who they want to play where and why and what they want the people to do in those back positions. And I also, you